Entonces, insisto, creo que muchas veces el origen de la superstición como que le arriman una historia para que parezca real, pero en realidad muchas de las supersticiones, el origen es desconocido. Y por ejemplo, en el caso del viernes 13 no está muy claro todavía porque a nivel popular se ha escogido que el viernes 13 sea el día de un día de la mala suerte en la cual uno no debe hacer cosas. Sí es, de todas maneras, una fecha del mundo occidental, o sea, ni martes 13 ni viernes 13 hasta donde se ha observado ni en China ni nada, o sea que patrones distintos. En el caso de Asia, por ejemplo, ahora que cito a China, lo que es aquí el blanco y el negro, el blanco es luto en China, mira tú qué cosa, y para nosotros lo que es negro aquí es lo que es luto es el negro. El caso es que de todas maneras lo que sí te puedo decir es que no hay evidencias escritas, ni en enciclopedias, ni en textos, ni en ningún lugar, de referencia al viernes 13 tal cual lo manejamos nosotros aquí hoy, en pleno año 2014, antes del siglo XIX. O sea, las primeras referencias aparecen impresas, que han quedado para la historia, del día viernes 13 como tal cuales, son del siglo XIX. Anteriormente eso no lo hay. Así que de todas maneras es una fecha de mala suerte relativamente joven. Y la otra cosa que te quiero decir en torno a esto es que, pues, existe una fobia, gente para todo, existe una fobia al viernes 13. Y la fobia, el nombre que es loquísimo, el nombre es como un trabalengua, de acuerdo etimológicamente con la conexión de la palabra, si tiene conexión con el griego o si tiene conexión con el latín, va cambiando, pero de todas maneras te voy a decir cuáles son esas palabras. Y es, las personas que tienen fobia, miedo al viernes 13, padecen de decafobia. Esa es la enfermedad. Hay otra que es parecida, que en este caso es parapsiquedecatriafobia. Esa es la otra palabra. Y así que ahí te lo dejo, son las personas que en este caso, y existe la otra que es triscaidecafobia, que es también otra palabra que sirve para definir a aquellas personas que le tienen miedo al viernes 13, y entonces hoy se van a quedar en la casa escuchando el látigo y no van a ningún lado. Mira, la cosa que te tengo es que desprendiéndonos de esto y del viernes 13, vamos a hacer hoy un inventario muy interesante a lo largo de 2 horas que tú me vas a ayudar a completar, de las grandes películas de horror y misterio, los clásicos. Y cuando digo las grandes, mira, si tú quieres incluso vamos a ampliar aquellas que no son exactamente grandes, que no tienen valores cinematográficos importantes, porque hay gran cine serio de horror y misterio, pero de todas maneras, vamos a abrir la puerta del día.
Hannah Atherton y Annabelle Shirley son las protagonistas. Leona Lewis, ganadora del concurso televisivo Factor X, interpreta el papel de la amiga de una de las hermanas.
Actual U.S. airstrikes. How seriously are those being considered, and what potentially could those achieve?
Well, it's being seriously considered. That's one of the other options the Pentagon said today. So drone aircraft or manned aircraft could mount bombing runs. There's a carrier in the northern Arabian Sea that could be heading into the Persian Gulf and launch these attacks, targeting those militant forces who are sometimes in pickup trucks, concentrated on the highways. You could also hit, let's say, headquarters or makeshift barracks, so you could find some targets.
I did talk about this yesterday, Tom, with retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling on the program. He's the former top commander in northern Iraq during the war, and he was pretty skeptical that airstrikes like that might succeed. Let's listen to part of what he had to say.
Unless you have some real firm control on those strikes, you're just bombing things. To just say, hey, we're going to go under the control of Iraqi ground forces and bomb their targets would be extremely difficult without controllers on the ground. And I'm not sure what it would do to the types of forces we're seeing now other than a last-ditch effort.
Right, and that's what I'm hearing at the Pentagon as well. What the general said, that first of all, you need experienced personnel on the ground with sophisticated equipment to call in these airstrikes. But of course, the president said no U.S. troops on the ground. And also, you might not have enough aircraft. You might need repeated bombing runs. So you may be taking out a few targets, but not having much impact. And the general said this last-ditch effort, that could be used only if you start seeing troops heading into Baghdad.
The problem, too, Tom, if these insurgent forces are pretty much embedded with civilian population, there could be a lot of civilian casualties attached.
Absolutely. That's another problem, too. You could hit civilians while you're trying to go after some of these militants.
Tom, the president said that U.S. military action would be had to be linked to political reforms by Iraq's government, basically that any military action won't work unless these underlying sectarian political disagreements are addressed. Is there really time for that kind of approach when you look at the speed with which the insurgents are on the move?
Well, whatever option the president chooses. He's pressuring Maliki to reach out to parts of Iraqi society he's been ignoring or even targeting, and we're talking specifically the Sunni minority here. And I spoke a couple of years ago to a senior U.S. military officer who told me he had just returned from Baghdad, and he urged Maliki to be more inclusive. And he said Maliki told him, listen, I think I know what I'm doing in my own country. And here we are with extremist forces now taking major Iraqi cities. And so right now you sort of have a 4-alarm fire raging here. And you may need to put out that fire before debating how to build a better fire department.
Okay, NPR Pentagon correspondent Tom Bowman. Tom, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
As ISIS militants have rolled south through Iraq, closing in on Baghdad, there's a very different story in the northern city of Kirkuk. There, Kurdish Peshmerga soldiers have taken over after the Iraqi army fled. Kirkuk is a huge prize. It's got rich oil fields, and for years the city has been hotly contested between Kurds and the Iraqi government. I'm joined now by the Kurdish governor of Kirkuk province, Dr. Najmuddin Karim. Dr. Karim, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And help us understand this. Is the entire city of Kirkuk, along with the oil fields, now in the hands of the Kurdish regional government?
The city proper, which has a population of close to 1 million, together with the northwest, east, and southern part of Kirkuk are all secure and under security forces control, which includes the Peshmerga, the police, and security branches in Kirkuk.
When the Iraqi army started to dissolve in your part of the country, what were you hearing? What happened?
I asked them, I said, what happened to the soldiers? I asked the division commander. He said, everybody changed their course and they went home. Some of them joined the insurgents.